Welcome everyone to this webinar this evening, all about how to be job ready in this new Web3 era. And it's our great pleasure to have Justin Pham, who is the co-founder of Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network, with us tonight. And he's put together incredible stuff for you to be able to glean from. So I hope you've got a little something to write down notes on as well. Okay, we're recording, but write down notes. It's always good to write down notes. Okay, so before we kick it off and I kind of like bring Justin on, I'm just going to tell you how it's going to run tonight, so everyone's very clear and everything's recorded properly and everything. Okay, so how it's going to run is that Justin's going to share with you what he's got all put together for you. And then after he's finished, what I'm going to ask is that then you ask your questions in the chat. Okay, you ask your questions in the chat. And then what I will do is that I will ask Justin the questions as they come up. Do not ask your questions during Justin's talk, because you can imagine all these questions and I have to go right to the top again. Okay, so just wait for when I say ask your questions now, and then you just put them in the chat, and then I'll be able to ask Justin the questions that you pop in there. Okay, so welcome, Justin, and thank you so much for your time this evening. I know it's very valuable time with you, with everything that you guys have been doing and launching and everything. So welcome, and I'm just going to hand it over to you to kick it off, Justin.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Carla, for a very warm welcome. All right. So, hi, everyone. Hey, MVP Studio family. That's all right. So, yeah, it's been a little while. I think that, like we haven't met each other. So, yeah, maybe I have met some of you before, but probably, like due into kind of like the recent workload. So I don't have a lot of time to talk into individual, one of you. But, I wish this sessions, I'm going to share a little bit of my journey. And also, I think, I want to share a little bit more on the Web3 or blockchain aspect. So you may heard of the blockchain, you may heard of Bitcoin, you may heard of your Ethereum, the MERT and stuff like that. So I just want to, spend about, I think it's around like 45 minutes to about maximum an hour, to explain a little bit about what is Web3, what is blockchain, and what you should prepare to be job ready. All right. So because when we work on this field, what I found is that a tremendous amount of, like opportunity, and nobody haven't been reviewed yet. Okay. There's a lot of shortage of staff, of, like the technical person, including all different field that I would love to share and get you how you can prepare for it. All right. So yeah, maybe I got a couple of slides that I can share that with you. All right. So that is including my introduction, all right, of myself, what I'm doing and where I come from. So why I'm in MVP Studio Workshop. All right. Let me just quickly share that with you real quick. Alrighty. So, oops, it's not sharing. Just a slideshow here. Cool. So let me move this into the screen so I can put my camera here. All right. So I guess everyone can see me. You can see the screen. All good?
We can see you, but we can't see your shared screen.
All right. Just 1 second. So how about we share the whole thing here? Can you see it?
Yes, that's good, Justin.
Awesome. All right. So yeah, I think the topic today, we already talked like how to be job ready in the new Web3 era. All right. So yeah, so my name is Justin Pham, and I'm the CEO and the co-founder of Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network. All right. So with the name itself, hopefully you already figured out what is, what we're doing. All right. You heard of the term Metaverse, Meta. Right. So sometime, if you're using Facebook, you probably heard of the term metaverse. OK, but, I got to talk a little bit more about, what I'm doing here. All right. So this is myself. All right. So 15 years ago, all right? So I keep using this images, for all of the, like the meetings and talks that I do recently, all right? So, but yeah, I'm currently a CTO as MVP Studio as well, all right? So you probably heard of, you could be like an intern at MVP Studio. You could be potentially wanting to join MVP Studio internships and stuff like that, but I previously the CTO as MVP Studio, and currently I'm the CEO and co-founder of Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network. All right. So basically, Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network under the MVP Studio incubation, program, or like the startups. So it does mean MVP Studio we launch Bit.Country. Okay. So in my background, I launched successfully like 3 tech startups, and recently we launched one of like Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network with become the public company with initial valuations around like $450 million. Okay, so I'm not the business background. I mean, if you can see from the CTO point of view, I actually coming from the technical background. All right, so I'm got more than 10 years of experience in software development. I do exactly what you're doing at the moment, like C#, Selenium, the Power BI, basically everything that you are doing, all right, in the role that has been doing, okay? And that's just make me become a CTO and then, like get promoted to become a CEO of the business, okay? So yeah, a couple of years ago, I created like the blockchain job ready program. And also I create like the mini program called blockchain, I guess like blockchain mini program. So if you are on interconnects.io, you probably see the blockchain mini program there. It's a little bit of outdated, but hopefully it will give you a little bit of idea of what it is, okay? And most importantly, I'm the ex-participant from Interconnect, okay? So it's around like 9 years ago. So the point here is, this is my journey coming from the participants to become, like a software developer, to become the CTO, and then I'm currently the CEO and the co-founder of like the $1 billion of business. Okay, so I think I just want to share the more important of the community. Okay, so you never succeed by yourself. Okay, so the community always the key factor for any success. In the future. Okay, so I will talk a little bit more about it. How important it is to stay around with the community, so how you can be more like the standout of the crowd. Okay, so that will help you a lot in the future. So yeah, basically what is Web3? Okay, so you may heard the term Web3, Web2, Web1. There's a lot of Web4, Web5. There's a lot of people that are talking all over the different about it. So may I ask if someone may unmute, so please mute yourself, okay? So to avoid the noise. So yeah, I think if you've been using the internet on the 1990 to 2005, so that's is the era that's when the internet was born. Okay, so there's a lot of open internet protocol, TCP/IPs and stuff like that. So there's a lot of company that start creating like the static website for you to read news, okay, for you to learn all the information. All right. So on the second era, so basically from 2005 to 2020, all right. So you're not only reading the news, but you can also participate to create the news yourself. Okay, it's called like a user created content. Okay, like for example, all right. So in the web, the first era, when you go into the shop, you buy something, you buy from the shop. Okay, from the second on the Web3 era, so you can go into the Amazon, you selling items, and someone else gonna buy your items. Okay, so basically the shop itself is not coming from the single person, is coming from the multiple person. All right, and the same on Facebook, not the media company they sell you the news, but the user who are created the news for other users to read. Okay, so that's just like the Web2 era. But the problem with Web2 is all the value created in the Web2 is in the handful of the large tech companies. Okay, so you think you own social media account? No, you don't. Okay, you don't own the Facebook account. You don't own any kind of like account on social media. All right, so this is owned by the company. Okay, so you think you own the contents on Facebook? It's not, it's not yourself. All right, so that's the asset from Facebook. All right, so they can delete the Facebook can go down anytime, and basically you will lose everything. Okay, and the same with the game. So when you play in the game, people they put a lot of money into the game. So the asset inside the game is not owned by the user. All right, so it's owned by the game company. All right, so it's basically that's the second Web2 era. So we are in the beginning of the Web3. All right, so you may heard of Bitcoin, you may heard of blockchain. I'm not talking about like investment or cryptocurrency here, but I'm talking about the technology. Okay, so the technology is prepared for you to come into the Web3 era. So basically, the Web3 is three key factors. That's decentralized, is community governance. All right, which is that if you want to make change on, let's say Facebook is the Web3. Okay, so if you want to make the new features on Facebook, all right, anyone that can vote. Anyone can create the features and anyone that can vote for it. All the users that can vote for this particular features, and then that the new features will roll out. All right. So now with the beginning of the Web3, the value will belong to the user. The value will be on owner, which is like the people who create the platforms, and the builder who contribute on the platforms. All right. So this is like a share value, and this is what the blockchain technologies they bring into the field. Okay, it's not about like the Doge coins or Shiba coins and stuff like that, but this is actually the revolution technologies that will help you have all the user to participate in the fair platforms. Okay, so if you think of excuse me, like for example, like the creator excuse me, like the creator on YouTube. All right, so when they create the videos, when the company they start advertising on top of the video from the creator, YouTube take 45%. Okay, on App Store, developer spends a lot of time to create an app. Apple take 30% of the commission. All right, and it's the same things on Facebook. All right, so if you create a very interesting content, I don't think Facebook gonna pay the money for you. All right, if the user they keep reading your contents. Okay, so that's the problem of the Web2. That's why it creates a lot of billionaires, and most of them in tech. Okay, in the tech sector. So with the Web3 is everyone who participate in the whole platforms would be receive the fair share. Okay, all the valuation from Facebook is owned by every single user. Okay, so that's some of the example. Right, I'm not saying like Facebook is the Web3, but yeah. So in summary, so here is like Web 1, Web 2, and Web 3. Okay, so Web 1 is more about you reading things. Web 2 is about you read and you write. Okay, and on the Web 3, you read, you write, and you own your contents. All right, whatever the contents. All right, it could be the game assets. If you create the game asset, that game asset should be belong to you. All right, so if you buy something, that should be belong to you. All right, it's not belong to the platforms. Okay, providing that. So yeah, basically now that's the Web3, right? So let's explain about why blockchain technology is important for the Web3. So blockchain is simple term. That's what I'm normally put. Is simply a decentralized database. Okay, immutable doesn't mean nobody can change it. But if we want to make a change, we need to have the common agreements. All right. So if you're working on data analysts, right, or a software developer, you probably know the concept of SQL Server, right? You know the concept of MongoDB. When you start working on that, you are a developer, you can update the field on MongoDB, okay? But with the blockchain developer, you can't make change on that database, all right? And every single person who use your software, they will run the mini version of that database, okay? So that's what is called the public ledger, okay? So that's, I think if you work in tech, you probably understand the database concept, and that's why I put this is what this blockchain is, okay? It's just the decentralized database. Instead of they store thing on tables, they store thing inside a block, okay? And each block they connect into the other, all right? And every single block, they all connected, they call blockchain, all right? Chain of block. So that's what it's called blockchain, all right? So because as everyone can run the same decentralized database, it's immutable, and we need to agree to make change. That's called like consensus algorithm, okay? So that's what is called blockchain. So blockchain, as we know now, is the database, right? So the database, we need to store some data. So what a blockchain you can use to store is we store, first of all, user fungible assets, okay? That is what Bitcoin is created, okay? So Bitcoin is actually user fungible asset management or storage using blockchain technology, all right? And Bitcoin Cash is another similar approach, okay? And you may heard of Ethereum, all right, Solana, but actually Ethereum, Polygon, or Solana is actually the database for users to save the code, okay? If you save your code inside Ethereum, they will make sure your code will be executed as the time you are putting your code. Nobody can change it, all right? So that's what they guarantee, all right? And for the user non-fungible assets, which is, I think fungible asset, if you don't know, right? So a fungible asset is more like the money, okay? So the money they have $1, $2, $5, $100, $1 million, they all the same, all right? They're all the same fungible, all right? So which is like countable. Non-fungible asset is mean each asset, they have the different attribute, okay? Like for example, your house and my house is all the house, but they have different attribute, all right? So it is called non-fungible assets, all right? So that's just what immutable X or flow blockchain they created, okay? So one of the blockchain, you can store everything, all right? That's very interesting. That's is the call like Polkadot. You can save basically everything. You can save, the user asset, you can save the code, you can save non-fungible asset, you can save the vote from the voter, all right? When we go into the democracy, when we vote for something, everything would be safe inside that blockchain, all right? And Metaverse.Network, this is what we are, that's what we are building, okay? So talk a little bit about what Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network, the company that we are funding, and what we are working on, okay? So basically, here's some of the information about us, all right? So we raised $40 million US last year from all the top, investment fund in the world, okay? So after that, we won another $100 million US worth of the, one of the crypto token. So because if we want to get our blockchain live, we need to have the slot, and to get the slot, we need to win the auction, all right? So we want $100 million funding by the community, which is like the individual user. So yeah, we are participants of the Berkeley Blockchain Accelerator. We also the participant of another blockchain lab as University of Toronto. And also, we have our own fund, which is around like $100 million to incubate the Metaverse project, okay? So this is what we are, who we are, okay? So yeah, so basically Bit.Country, we are a network for user-created Metaverse and game, okay? So you may heard the concept of Metaverse and that, sort of thing, but it's basically another social platforms that for user to transact money, okay, for you to create a content, for user to create a marketing campaign, for user to create their own world. Okay, so that's basically what is the what we are doing. All right, so let me quickly share with you like the quick videos of who we are. All right, so I think it's about 1 minute. Let me just share with sound. That's gonna be easier. So you can see the sound, you can hear the sound. All right. All right, so yeah, oh, sorry. I'll be going to the next slide. All right, so yeah, so basically that's what we are doing. All right, so I'm not sure if you understand what we're doing, but so if you can look at the videos, right? So what actually the user they created is the metaverse. Okay, so the metaverse is excuse me. So the metaverse is basically like the 3D world. Okay, so that is the world or the place for the content creator to go there, to decorate, to create the whole economy, to create their own assets, to engage with their fan. Okay, so the most important things in like in that concept is basically it's open like the new opportunity for the content creator. All right, so in our testing phase we have 4,000 metaverses is created. All right, so if you can see on the videos is the metaverse created by the user. Okay, and we have a lot of big brands they starting to create a metaverse. Okay, so the metaverse is actually, as you can think as more like the 3D version of the Facebook group. Okay, where you can start engaging, when you start sharing information. All right, when you start selling things, when you start the marketing your products and things to the user. Okay, so we're using like the token economy, which is it's really sophisticated economy to help the content creator to create a metaverse. All right, so on the first date of launch, so we launched I think yesterday. Sorry, I think we launched on Tuesday at 1 p.m. New Zealand time. Okay, so we got around 29 metaverses is created. The people they create a lot of art collection there, and we got 3 million near people they lock away. Okay, so because our token, we are the public company, so 3 million near at the moment is worth around like $1 million. Okay, that's just what the people they put in. Okay, so it's actually is a new way for people to start earning money, to start engaging into the metaverse. Okay, so here's our team. So this is an important part I want to share with you all today. Okay, about the team culture, about what is the key attribute that I normally looking to when I hire people. Okay, and also how you can be successful in this field. Okay, so you can see the face here. We got the team all around the world. Okay, it's come from the Philippines, is in UK, in London, some of them in Manchester, some of them in Christchurch, some of them in Singapore, and also in Australia, okay, and someone in Thailand as well, okay. So that's really interesting. The multicultural team. That's is, but what I can tell you is 80% of our team member coming from Interconnect and MVP Studio. All right. So this is the concept that I want to talk to you all today. All right. So a little bit about our team background. As I mentioned, 80% of them of the core member. I think a lot of people we put on the face there, it's just the core member. All right. So we have a lot of team member. We didn't put include images because they haven't got the latest image. Okay, but we continue to expand 2 times of the team size to cope with the growth. Okay, so far a lot of big brands they start approaching us to launch the metaverse. Okay, for their brand, for their user, for their community. Okay, so a lot of live streamer, the YouTuber, they want to sell the NFT directly into their fan. Okay, or some of the concert events, they want to create the NFT ticket. They want to sell that, to the user using the blockchain technologies. All right, because there's a problem with like the fake tickets and stuff like that. So we need to continue to grow. Okay, and in our team, in the technical team, this is the technologies that we're using. Okay, so you can see like amazing 3D world, amazing kind of like user effects and stuff like that is all created by all the technologies that you currently learning as MVP Studio, okay, or from Interconnect and you're doing as MVP Studio. Okay, so we got 2 lead QA as a number of QA team member is mainly focusing into testing. Okay, they test the blockchain, they test the UI, they test API, everything they use in Selenium, Cypress, but I think 30% of their time using manual testing. Okay, so the concept is testing is really important. And yeah, for the developer, as already mentioned, our backend we're using C#, .NET Core API, MongoDB, SQL Server, JavaScript, and TypeScript. Okay, our blockchain, mainly developed by me. I'm using Rust. Okay, I'm not sure if you heard of Rust, but that's the programming language that I use to write my blockchain. So yeah, on the data analyst, we have dashboard, we have a lot of kind of different chat and kind of things from the user. Like all the transactions and everything appear. I can show you quickly after the presentation. Okay, so yeah, but mainly the Power BI or the MongoDB, we have our indexer to index the blockchain and put them inside a database, and we can do the Power BI and the visualization for the user. Okay, so yeah, the key attribute to success for our core member. Okay, so this is really important. When I start interviewing anyone, of course, the multiple round, but the first things we're looking for is the commercial experience. Okay, that's really important. Okay, so the reason is when you get commercial experience, you will understand the different angle, what it takes to bring the project from the conceptual design into the product. Okay, you can have the ability to look into the product, and then you can fully understand how to test them. Okay, how to automate the whole test cases. Or when you look into the database, you will understand how to create the data warehouse. All right, you understand how to create a Power BI. You understand basically the end-to-end process. Okay, that's the first attribute: commercial experience, a long-term and positive thinking. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, so in the company, in the community, we're looking for someone who have positive thinking. All right, so because when you think in a positive way, your brain will try to find the solution. Okay, but if you think in the negative way, your brain will start thinking how to not to find a solution. All right, how not to find a solution. So that's a different sort of thinking. All right, so I encourage is everyone here, especially in our MVP Studio community, okay, try to have the long-term and positive thinking. Okay, so sometimes when things is not coming to you as you expected, all right? Because it's too early, okay? Or you're not ready for it, okay? So you need to think as a long term. Critical thinking is also important, all right? So you may heard of critical thinking at universities and kind of thing, but it's really important skills if you want to be successful. All right, I'm not saying you want to have a job. All right, getting the job is super easy. All right, from my point of view. All right, now I'm talking to the investor. I'm talking to the partners. I think now getting the job is super easy. Okay, but having a career is extremely difficult. Okay, you need to have these kind of attributes to build a strong career. Okay, so the critical thinking, so trying to think on a different perspective. Okay, so different perspective is when you see the problem, you try, or when you see the problem, you're trying to look into the different angle. All right, the different perspective, trying to put yourself into the user. For example, if you want to build the good Power BI, you shouldn't think as the BI developer. All right, you should think that you are the one who read the Power BI dashboard. Okay, so you should think of who you write your who you want to represent your Power BI dashboard for. Okay, or when you're writing the good software, it's not about a good code. All right, that's important, but the most important part is who you're going to use your software. All right, who you're going to use your module. So how the user, when they look into what you build, all right, they don't care about how complex you are on the back end. What they care about is can solve the problem. Okay, and the same thing on the test analyst or QA. Okay, it's a very important skill. And taking initiative. All right, so it's sometime in the company, the people who stand up to take some initiative to do something beyond what other people expect is normally get attention from the management team, from the leader, okay, point of view, regardless of you get attention or not. Okay, but when you step up, when you stand out, when you want to take initiative, it's actually you're trying to learn something new. All right, so you do something more than that you normally do. Okay, so that's really important approach. And I think you should be, I'll just put it away, like born to be a leader, but I think is normally, the leader is actually getting trained. Okay, so you should look at the leader point of view. The leader is not actually the manager, okay, or your team leader. So the leader here is who take an initiative, who take responsibility, okay, to do something that you're responsible for, okay, taking ownership. Okay, so that's the good leader. Okay, so like for example, if I assign task to someone, all right, I expect that person have to think on my shoes. Okay, what do I expect? That person needs to think on the user perspective, what that feature's going to use for. Okay, and they take the ownership to complete it. Okay, that's, to me, that's the leader. Okay, so because it's not about you managing people. All right, so if you have that attitude in your mind, sooner or later you will become a leader. Okay, you will start managing people. So and the last thing that I'm looking for is the technical skills. Okay, so to me, a technical skills is not really important. Okay, so because technical skills is something everyone can learn. It takes time to learn, but the first 5 key attributes, it's not everyone that have ability to learn. Okay, so you could be the amazing technical guys in the room, all right, but you're just good at that job. All right, you're not gonna have the great career. All right, so this is some of the things. That's why like the team member in at MVP Studio, all right, they keep accelerating, they keep basically they get promoted very easily. Okay, so for those that who got these kind of like attributes. So, and the next things I want to talk to is the MVP Studio community. Okay, so we are, as you already know, right? 80% of our team member has come from MVP Studio. So I just want to, express the importance of, having a community or being a good, being in the good community. All right. So in a blockchain project, it's not about a user. Okay. In a blockchain project, because everything we share, right? All the values, everything we share. So the good blockchain project is the projects they have a strong and supportive community. Okay, it's more like, everyone who's believe in this project, they will come all together as a community, and then they will start sharing idea. They start, keep improving the product, because when they improve the product, everyone will get benefits. Okay, as I mentioned before, you can't succeed alone, no matter how smart you are. Okay, this is based on my journey that I getting from, like the students, they come into the CEO and co-founder of $1 billion business. Okay, you never succeed alone. Okay, so you need to have a team. So you need to have the people surrounding you, supporting you, and keep encouraging you. All right, so that's why, we're lucky we have a lot of MVP Studio community here, and also, when people get a job from MVP Studio, we invite them to the MVP Elite channel, okay, or community on LinkedIn. So that's really important aspect, because when the job opportunity come, we normally post inside that community, okay, or there's a lot of people, as I mentioned before, like 90% of the tech company in New Zealand and Australia, they have our MVP Studio connection. Okay. So when the people, they need someone, they normally post on that MVP Elite group. Okay. Why MVP Elite group? Because those people who got a job, all right, those people who get trained on other company, and they are ready. Okay, so I think most of you, if you are currently the intern at MVP Studio, spend your time to start learning new skill, to start, practicing like how you can be the good person in the community. Okay, how to support other people, how to express your idea, how to do things, how to help, other. So that's really important. Okay, as sometime, as I mentioned before, long-term thinking, right? Sometimes the benefit is not coming from day one or day two, or from 1 month or 2 months. It's could take time. All right, but if you keep practicing that, I believe you would be extremely successful in the future. Okay, and as I mentioned before, it's not about a job, it's about career. All right, so if you have all of the key attributes that I mentioned before, you will have the really successful career. Okay, that's what we that's the kind of, it's not the philosophy, all right, but that is something that I strongly believe in. Okay, because when you believe in something, your brain will start triggering, your brain will start thinking how to become that person. Okay, and I could tell you, all the key attributes that I told you, all right, so they all, it's not quantity that you will be success, but all the successful people that I met, all right, I met the billionaire, I met the multi-million dollars, like business leader, they all have these kind of attributes. All right, there's all long-term thinking, they all, kind of like think on a different perspective, have very good critical thinking. All right, and the good thing is MVP Studio community is we continue to support all the members. Okay, I think even those after they got a job, they come back, we continue to support them. All right, and the last thing, as I mentioned before, the opportunity is normally when it's come first, we normally broadcast that on the channel, or like I think I normally observing, inside the meetings, because we have like IndustryConnect.io, right? I can look into all of the key KPIs and things. So, when we need people, that is the key factor we start looking for. Okay, and that's the normally how we hire team member. All right, so that's what you see. As I mentioned before, 80% of our staff is come from MVP Studio. Okay, because we are in the community, we know each other. All right, so we know our journey. Okay, so it's not about the technical skills. It's all about all the skills that you learn during all the sessions on everyday basis. Okay, so you may think that something is not important, but when the opportunity come, you will see that it's really important. All right, so of every single articles that written inside Industry Connect article is really important. All right, so that's just all of the experience you never learn from somewhere else. Okay, so yeah, I mean, last but not least, that is my Twitter account. So I'm currently running a very really interesting campaign. I can show you very quickly that how the metaverse can help people, right? So basically what I'm doing here is I just want to do the airdrop to people. Let me just share the screen. Yeah, 2 hours ago, right? I decided to, to test our new metaverse marketing campaign. All right, so I airdropped 10,000 near, which is you train for 10,000 worth of near to the people, to 10 random metaverse owner. All right, and getting a lot of tractions and people to retweet and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. If you want to learn more about the metaverse, if you want to learn more about blockchain technology, you feel free to follow me. All right, I'll put the link there and also the slides I'm going to share on the MVP Studio channel. Okay, but here is the product that I mentioned before. So this is the one that we live today. So it's really important that for you to understand. So here's the metaverse for the brands they created. Okay, from the top 5, I think the top 5 crypto exchange in the world. Okay, so their transact volume is about billions of dollars a day. They launched the metaverse inside Bit.Country. Okay, because they want to engage with the fan. They want to create a really interesting channel. So to incentivize their user. And we have it's all created by MVP Studio team member. Okay, that's will make you feel so proud. All right. So here's the avatar. We can change all the different avatars. You can change shoes and stuff like that. And here's the metaverse. Okay. And the CTO, the current CTO, Shannon Christie, who created this metaverse. All right. Who created the entire game engine, is used to be the ex participant from MVP Studio. All right, from Industry Connect. So that is how like the MVP Studio we can who is the budget we can create. All right, we have our own land, we have our assets, the people they can trade and they can share and that sort of thing. And that's the token is some of the currency that we're putting on. So yeah, I guess it's so far based on I think this is we listed in this one. So yeah, I think this is what we listed, and this is like a Pioneer kind of. Pioneer is more like a UAT environment. This is worth, I think, on the mainnet is worth 10 times more than what it's worth at the moment. But yeah, I think that's basically the key points I want to share today. Is more as who is MVP Studio, like community. All right, so what important for the community, who I normally look for, when it's coming to the technical skills, okay, like to hiring people. So I'm start actively expanding our team, okay. So in the developer, QA, and the data analyst, okay. So yeah, that's the opportunity, and I will share more in detail when when we finalize all the requirements and stuff for everyone. But yeah, and hopefully that's share a little bit about who I am, what we are doing. Also, hopefully you understand a little bit of the Web3, right? The blockchain technologies, the technologies we're using. All right, so the technologies we're using is exactly the same of the technologies that you're learning at the moment. Okay, so there's nothing new. It's just creating in the new eras. Okay, the only different here is the the blockchain. Okay, I can show you quickly how our blockchain look like and the code that I wrote. Okay, so this is the Pioneer subscan. So this is more like the it's a very quick. All right. Yeah. So this is like basically the BI solution. All right. This is all right. So you can see a lot of BI solution for the on the blockchain. Okay. So basically that's including all the transactions, all the transfer and stuff like that. So this is basically all the information they coming from MongoDB. Okay, and they scanning is the blockchains and stuff like that. They have all of the number of who holding the tokens, this kind of information. Okay, and our blockchain is written in Rust. But if you're interested, feel free to to learn a bit more. So you probably recognize this is me, right? Just Pham. And this is the languages that I'm using. All right, so I'm using Rust. All right, so well, if you're not the software developer, don't look at it. It's a little bit more like C++ and a C type sort of thing. Is the low code infrastructure. Okay, so but that's what we wrote. All right, so and also this is the backbone of the $1 billion business. Okay, of course the blockchain developer is an extreme shortage. Okay, but if you are new into the area, if you're new into the if you're new into software development, blockchain is not for you. All right, so normally blockchain developer, they are transit from the senior dev, the senior developer who got a lot of experience, then they can transit, move into blockchain. Okay, because when you're writing the code that for $1 billion, it's not it's not simply just very easy like you're writing the code in C#. All right, plus the blockchain, when you deploy, you can change it. Okay, that will maintain the immutable. Okay, so this means, like, for example, if we agree for this logic, of course we can keep changing that, right? That's make the blockchain trustworthy. The people that trust in blockchain developer, we can change things. Okay, but apart from that, every single technologies that I mentioned, okay, is all really useful in the Web3 era. Okay, so I strongly suggest that everyone here from MVP Studio community, right, just go and search for Web3, search for blockchain technologies, search for some kind of information. All right, search for Bit.Country Metaverse.Network. When you go into interview, they ask, who is MVP Studio? What are you doing? You can explain MVP Studio is the company creating Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network. All right, so that's just running on billions of dollars. All right, and of course, when the time comes, when you have with your technical skills up into the level, I will start approaching people and invite you to come to work closely with our team. Okay, that's the that's the beauty of it. All right, so yeah, thanks everyone, and hope that you understand. If you want to, I will share the slides on the channel, and feel free to follow me on Twitter. If you understand the Web3, we're trying to create a Twitter account. All right, I'm not a big fan of Twitter before, but when I start working on blockchain since 2014, I started creating the Twitter account. All right, all the big KOLs and influencers in blockchain and Web3 on Twitter. Okay, try to create a Twitter, trying to learn a little bit about it. When you go into the company, you get an interview, you can share a little bit about Bit.Country, Metaverse.Network. You should be so proud. This come from MVP Studio. Okay, and then they will ask you, oh, what do you know about blockchain technology, the Web3? You can simply explain that. Okay, so you will be stand out from the crowd. Okay, so thanks everyone, and hope you enjoy session.
That was amazing, Justin. I loved it. I absolutely love it. And it's it's so interesting what Web3 is doing. You know, I love it that you own all your content now, you know, where it's moving, and no one can just grab it or anything like that. But everyone, you can ask some questions. So I'm just going to go through and have a look at your questions. There's a question here, Shalan. My question is, as an MVP studio intern, I don't have a commercial experience. Am I still eligible to apply? I don't understand that, Shalan. Apply for what? If you could just pop me a message. Let me have a look. Gundip Rai. How's Bit.Country different than, say, Decentraland? Can we say something like Bit.Country is WordPress of blockchain?
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Gahip, right? That's pretty awesome questions. Yeah. So I know that you understand the Web3. Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right. So basically, you know, we can put in the comparison here. So the Bit.Country that the platforms allow user to create another Decentraland. Does that make sense? All right. So that's what our vision is. Okay, and that's why, you know, we receive tremendous amount of support, investments. All right, you know, millions of dollars to realize the vision, and we went live 2 days ago. Okay, so yeah, in you know, in putting in the simple term, the Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network allow user to create another version of the Decentraland with their own fully customizable. Okay, you can copy entire Decentraland if you want to, but you can create your own world similar into the Decentraland. You can create mana, which is like the token on Decentraland. You can sell land as, you know, the partial inside the Decentraland. You can sell NFT inside your marketplace. Okay, without a single line of code. Okay, so you can just come some symbol UI, you can create a metaverse. Okay, we have the big community of the artists around the world who create like the 3D model, who creates the NFT, who create a thing for the metaverse for owner who don't want to build, who just want to buy thing and put inside their metaverse. Okay, so that's the different. Okay, so yeah, thanks for that. That's pretty good. You know, questions there. Yeah.
Awesome. Next we have Bahar. We're familiar with interfaces like web browser, i.e. Firefox, email accounts, Gmail, Yahoo, etc. Could you please elaborate on what kind of interface is used while using blockchain?
That's good. Yeah. So I mean, the key things, Bahar, I think the main interface of the blockchain at the moment is to the web browser. Okay, it's to the internet, it's to the web browser. But instead of you using your email address, which is not owned by you, all right, it's owned by Google, it's owned by Yahoo, it's owned by whatever email hosting provider. Okay, you have your own wallet. Okay, so your wallet is the cryptographic wallet. Okay, which is that only you owning that. Okay, so the wallet is more like your bank account. Okay, in the bank. All right, so if you want to create a new bank account, you can create a new wallet, and nobody have access to your wallet because your wallet address is generated from the private key. Okay, so the private key is the random 32 or 24 or 12 words. Okay, all they combine together with the cryptographics, either using like Edward Leaf curve or you know, that's some sort of different crypto algorithm or crypto hashing. They hash that, you know, private key to generate the public key. Okay, so when you send the money from someone, you need to send your public key, and then, you know, the money will come into that wallet, and only you have the private key to unlock it. Okay, that's the interface you interact on the blockchain. All right, I can show you very quickly that how it look like. All right, that's really awesome question here. So let me just 1 second. Yeah, let's see this one. All right. I can share with my entire desktop. So you probably see my desktop now. All right, so here is a Bit.Country, right? So we just need to have the browser, which is the, I'm using Chrome, Firefox, Brave browser. And this is different type of wallets, okay? And this is your identity, all right? The different, depends on different blockchain. They have their own wallets. Like for example, if you go into Ethereum, you can have, you're using MetaMask, different type of wallet, or you are on Binance, okay, blockchain, you have different type of wallet, all right? So we are using the Polkadot wallets. So like for example, if I want to log into the system, right? So now no email address required, okay? The only things that require is I need to connect my wallets, all right? So it's basically, I need to agree into the term and condition, and then it will load every single wallet here that I created, all right? So to be able to create a wallet, it's very simple, right? You can create a new account here. Here is the 12 words mnemonic phrase, okay? So this word is using crypto hashing. This will generate this wallet address. This is your public key, all right? Do you understand? So it's more like this is your password, all right? For the password, this will generate the unique username, okay? So you don't need the email address anymore. And of course, you own your wallet, okay? So this means that if your private key is gone, you can't access into your wallet anymore, all right? So that's the only risk, using on the blockchain, okay? So you may heard of on the news, someone they lost, the Bitcoin private keys and stuff like that, right? They lost $100 million just because of they losing the private key, okay? So the good things about on the Bit.Country and Metaverse.Network blockchain is, even those you see on the UI here, all right, I can show you, even though it is just a simple, sorry, what's this noise there? Let me just sign my transaction here. All right, so everything you see in here, right, for the UI, okay? So Venkita, can you, there's quite some noise there. Okay, yeah, so even though you see everything's all the UIs and stuff here, right? So that we, this is all the real money, okay? All the real information here. Even those, the Bit.Country, pioneer of Bit.Country is gone, okay? So the website crashed, the server's down, okay? Someone else, they can use our blockchain to create the better UI, to create, exactly the same thing with our Bit.Country. Does it make sense? Okay, that is how the user usually own the content, okay? Because everything's they already safe on the blockchain and nobody can change it, okay? So what Bit.Country does is actually just create the UI based on the blockchain backend, okay? And the blockchain backend is run by the people around the world, okay? So nobody can change it, okay? Even me, I created, but I can't change it. If I want to make change on my code, all right, I need to go through the proposal, go through the council, okay, process, all right. Like for example, I create a proposal. Hey guy, I need to make change on this blockchain, and then the people they vote for it, okay. They use millions of dollars, they vote for it, okay. So this means even me, I created, but I can't make change, okay. So I need to have the power of community to to agree on that, all right. So because the more people they hold in the token, they want the good platforms, they want a good future, okay. So if I do something bad, they will vote no, okay. If I want to do something good for the network, they will vote yes, okay. So that's the Web3, okay. That is the blockchain. It's not about cryptocurrency, it's not about investment, trading, and that sort of thing, but I'm talking about the technology here. All right. So thanks everyone for a pretty good question here. How would you
There's some more
advise?
questions. We've
Yep.
got some more questions here. Bear
Nice,
with
love
me. Bear with me. Okay. Aman, how can we financially invest in the Bit.Country ecosystem like we can in Decentraland?
Wow. I mean, I'm not trying to, to invest or anything here. It's just, my main focus here is just like technical sharing. Okay. Just do your own research. All right. Just do your own research. This is better. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Justin. Caleb, thanks for the awesome webinar. If blockchain is a decentralized database, how can companies analyze customer data from databases because it is decentralized, owned by individuals?
Yes, that's a good question. All right. So because it's decentralized, this means everyone they can run the version of the blockchain. All right. So if you are the data analyst, you want to run the version of the blockchain on the Bit.Country, you can just run the couple of scripts, and then you will run the blockchain is up and running. Okay. Thanks, Caleb. So yeah, that is, because the blockchain is actually the database. Okay. The only difference here is they store on a different data structure. Okay. They store in the block structure. So it's basically how it works is, on Ethereum, Google BigQuery, they already done some script. You can run the script to extract all the data, from the blockchain into the MongoDB table. Okay, so we did the same thing here as well. So we attach we index the database. Okay, every single block, we get all the information, we get all the data, we put inside our database. Okay, and then using the data warehouse, we clean them. We show the interesting information for the user. Okay, so that's how we do it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Good answer, Justin. So another one from Lee. How would you advise an intern to grow technically so that after we gain enough commercial experiences, we're able to get a role as a blockchain developer? Also, what kind of topic in computer science, especially those not from this area previously, should one grow themselves in to prepare themselves for Web3?
Cool. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, as I mentioned before, sometime when you work in the Web3 is not all about become the blockchain developer. Okay, Web3 is not all about become the blockchain developer. So you become the blockchain developer is basically you become the builder. Okay, to build the Web3. Okay, but there's a lot of different roles that you can participate in. Okay, like for example, you prepare yourself as the user to participate on the platforms. You start deeply research, on the different projects. Okay, and if there's a good project, you can participate. You can earn something. Okay, or there's a lot of opportunity. What I'm talking about here is like a new opportunity. All right, in the Web3, because when you participate in the platforms, you will earn the fair share amount of shares and things as as the user. Okay, there's a lot of, because I think on the blockchain developer is basically blockchain is an open source project. Okay, I'll show you my GitHub. Right, it's public. Everyone can read my code. Everyone can contribute. All right, without any incentives. So yeah, back into your questions is being the blockchain. After you gain commercial experience, I think if you want to become blockchain developer, all right, you can become. It's two-way. All right. The first thing you can create blockchain yourself is basically I'm not saying like if you really want to, you can, but it's extremely hard. Okay. Only few blockchain developer who can create a blockchain in the world. Okay. Vitalik, the guy from Ethereum, CEO of Ethereum, I'm not sure if he can code, but there's actually only few people who can code. He can create a blockchain. Okay. If you want to participate, if you want to become a blockchain developer, you need to be the good front end developer. You learn JavaScript because if you learn a JavaScript, you learn all the UI, you can interact with the blockchain. Okay, so you can interact with the blockchain not directly, but through the API. Okay, so in the public, someone will create an API for you. Okay, or you can, you can run the indexer, right? You can analyze the data for other company, or you can be in testing, okay, on the blockchain as well. So, or you can participate on the project. You see the new opportunity, because you know there's always opportunity for when the new era. Okay, something not a lot of people they agree on. Okay, that is the opportunity. Okay, if something everyone's already know that, everyone's already agree with it, it's too late. Okay, so that's what I want to share.
Fantastic. It looks like it's a wrap, everyone. There's no more questions. So, Justin, thank you so much. That was such a great, informative webinar, and thank you for sharing your knowledge and everything. I would really highly suggest everyone that you just research for yourself as well. On Web3, if you haven't already, and understood that, what will happen is that, like I said, I've recorded this as well. So I'll pop this link to the recording in the general channel in MVP, general channel, Slack channel. And Justin will give us the his slides as well for you to have a look at as well. So, and those attributes, you remember those attributes that he spoke about to be successful. It's not a job, it's a career. So it's a whole mind shift. So I just want to bring you back to those things that he talked about as well, because that's what's going to get you through this internship and also be seen by people as well as someone that is able to grow into leader side of things. And when you step into those interviews, you've got a lot to talk about then. Okay, so I just want to really encourage you to really look at what those attributes are that Justin spoke about. Like I said, he's going to share those with us on the MVP Studio general Slack channel. You can have a look at that. But yeah, if you've got any questions, or just, Justin just put it in there, connect with him on Twitter. If you haven't got a Twitter account, sign up for one. Get on there. I never used to do Twitter. I still don't really do Twitter, but hey, if you're like in this realm of things, and Twitter is a platform to be part of and start connecting. I always say to everyone, and all the industry connect people always say, all the staff say, your network, your community that you build is such a big part of your career. So, build that network, build your community, be in here, interacting with everyone as well, okay? Even if we've got some people in here that are going to be starting the next intake with us, so you'll be starting on the Industry Connect Job Ready program, then you're going to be going over to MVP Studio as an intern. So start building those relationships, because relationships are everything, okay? Relationships are everything. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And Justin, thank you so much again for your time and everything and putting this webinar all together for us. And we really, really thank you for that. So good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. And all the best, everyone. See you again soon.
Awesome. All right. Lovely to meet you all. Thanks, everyone. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you again.